Second Cup is brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center.
Hello, good morning. It is 8 o'clock on the start of a Tuesday. Good morning. Welcome to Second Cup. Glad you're with us to start the day.
We've been downstairs so long. I feel like we're like super close together now.
I know. Put my head down because I'm so tired.
He's very tired today.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just sleepy.
I am too. It was a tough day to get out of bed.
Yeah.
I think it's because we've just been dealing with this cold for so long. And
Stay in bed if you can. Don't wake up.
most people probably can't.
Good morning, everyone. Glad you're with us. Guys, I turned to the camera this morning just now, a little while ago, and I almost got thrown off of what I was doing because I have this mountain on the side of my face. Do you see that? Can you see that? That is an awful zit, and I didn't even realize it until, I knew I had it, but yikes, that is got its own zip code.
Gross.
It's huge. Oh my gosh.
Does it make you feel youthful, like you're back to being a teenager?
No, it makes me feel like very uncomfortable. Because really what I want to do is just pop it.
Oh, God. Okay. You know I don't do that.
Hi, Peter. Good morning. Digging the tie makes you look like a spiffy bee. Thank you so much. Thanks, Connie. We appreciate you.
Oh, that's nice, Connie. I was kind of thinking like, I don't know. It's the makeup.
Yeah.
I think the yellow is not doing me any favors.
What do you mean?
The light in the background. It's not really for my skin.
Well, I mean, look.
Yeah, Jordan, help me. Help me help myself. Jordan's going to adjust the camera a little. There we go. That's better. That is better.
Yeah. It has its own zip code. That's funny.
Oh, Lord.
Maybe. It could be, James. You're right. Could be. Peter, Ed just saw your reel about the latest Siena poll. Thank you very much. Yes, I am literally just reporting what the poll says. And it's so annoying to hear people be like, oh, you're biased. You're this, you're that.
But it's engagement.
Please keep commenting. Oh, my God. What I really want to say is, shut up.
No.
But I won't.
All right. Yeah, okay.
This morning,
Couple things we want to talk about here.
what do you make of this? There is a plan in the works to potentially bring a Shake Shack to the village of Kenmore.
So be the old Kenmore Presbyterian Church on Delaware Avenue, just past Kenmore.
A lot of pushback here. Basically, what the plan is...
There's the Walgreens, so that's where it is.
Right.
Uh-huh.
The plan is to essentially bulldoze this building and build a new one. And it would be 2 stories. Essentially, it would be just like a regular mixed-use building with apartments, it seems like.
Stores.
Right. And this Shake Shack now on the corner. So, look, this building right now is otherwise empty. And there is nothing going on in this building.
It's a big building. Big piece of land, I guess you could say, yeah.
And for a lot of the people who we spoke with, at least, there is a lot of pushback about this. They don't want this coming to Kenmore.
Well, so there's 2 schools of thought here. Number one, like, is it a historic building? Is it that important to us that we need to designate it as such? And then once we do that, that puts certain parameters on its use, how it can be used, how it needs to be rehabbed, all these different things. Or is it something where we say, hey, it's a big piece of land. It's been sitting there for a while. We'd rather have something than nothing.
So Peter says, I can understand the pushback as residents want to preserve the architecture of the community. And Julie says, eat living foods like salad for a few days. It'll cleanse your system. Okay.
Julie.
Though Mark says, not what the neighborhood needs. It doesn't go with the area.
But you know what? People would have said the same thing about the Elmwood Village, and they did say the same thing about the Elmwood Village.
Well, and now there's a green code in the Elmwood Village mandating that you can't build up or or change
Yeah.
a certain way.
But like let's say the building at the corner of Elmwood and Bryant that was one of those first mixed use. It had the coffee place in the bottom.
Yeah, okay.
Next to Aroma.
Mhm.
That kind of fits in now. Like it doesn't bother me there.
Right.
Now, the
yeah.
one that people really disliked was the one across from Kohl's.
Right.
With is that the one JT's is it?
No.
No, it's further down. But the one across from Kohl's where the music
It's like
store
Elmwood
had
and
been there.
Forest. Yeah, where all those houses were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, here's my thought about this. What doesn't go with the neighborhood? I've been wondering
Shake
about this
Shack,
lately.
yeah, mhm.
You know, like why doesn't something go with the neighborhood? And I've been wondering this lately because in my neighborhood group on Facebook, people are complaining about the way I think it's called like 7 Wine 6. It's on the corner of Delavan and Elmwood.
Okay.
And it's an old house basically that has had a number of businesses on the bottom floor, and there's an apartment on the second floor. It was a barber shop at one point, then it was empty. I mean, the guy has come in, I think he's living on the second floor, has come in and totally rehabbed and made this building look beautiful. But people are like, it doesn't go with the neighborhood. It doesn't do this. It's awful looking, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, well, then what are you doing to A, fill the space, and B, who cares?
I don't know. See, I love an old, beautiful building, but I do think at some point we need to draw the line between what is an old, beautiful building
Right.
and what is just an old building.
It's a church, and no one's using it. It's not a church anymore. It's a building.
And like I haven't been in it. Maybe it is beautiful inside. Maybe it should be preserved. You know, I'd need to like get a better look at it. From
Sure,
the
to Marguerite's
outside,
point.
I don't know much about it. Right? Yes. From the outside, kind of just looks like I agree with you. It looks like an old school, an old
Right.
church. Like you just don't want stuff to sit there.
It looks very 1960s
It
to
does,
me.
yeah.
And like, okay, like here we are in 2026, and what does the future look like? I feel like that's what we kind of have to keep in mind when okay, maybe it's not a Shake Shack, but is a mixed use building good for this community? Will it bring more people into the area? Will it bring more business into the area? Will it bring more tax dollars?
Okay, in 1924, they built that building around the wooden church while they still had services. So 1924. But they built the building around this church. You know,
Look, Gina says they did the same thing with East Aurora. They didn't want a Starbucks. Now they built one. And right, how much use is it getting? I'm sure it's getting a ton of use.
right.
Nicholas says it's not because you don't want it to be a Shake Shack. Okay, sorry, I'm reading your comment wrong, Nicholas. I apologize. Is it no because you don't want it to be a Shake Shack, or no because you don't want change? Maybe should be used as a multi-place. And that's kind of my point, right? Like, is it because we don't want Shake Shack in our community, or is it because we don't want change? Like, I remember when Panera, remember Blockbuster on Elmwood Avenue?
Yeah.
I mean, that then became Panera. And I remember thinking, like, why Panera in Elmwood? And does it do a lot of business? I don't really know. But, like, at the end of the
It's
day...
always busy.
Right. At the end of the day, it's another business in a large building that is able to pay the rent,
Right.
is another option,
Yeah.
and frankly, prevents these buildings from sitting idly for so long.
So here's what the man who Eileen interviewed said. Let's see if we can get the building on the preservation list so that it can't be demolished and then move forward from there. But that is almost what we've dealt with so many times where we get these buildings on these lists and then they don't ever move forward.
Well, because then there's so many restrictions.
There are so many restrictions. And I think that, I don't know, you know, it would be nice. It would be the best of both worlds, but let's also be real. We don't live in a society where money just falls from the sky. It'd be the best of both worlds if you could preserve the building and bring in some business.
Ma, I don't think it's because they want to keep it for religious reasons. I think they just want to keep it because of, you know, its historic value. But what is the history there that is of such value? Like earlier this morning, I was talking about the Trico building, for instance, and you know, I mentioned this when I first moved here to Buffalo 15 years ago. One of my first stories was speaking with Preservation Buffalo Niagara, and you know, their whole thing was to keep these buildings there that have that historic value, right? The windshield wiper was invented here in Buffalo,
Yes.
and made in the Trico building.
And that building is really cool.
And it's Honest,
Huge.
exactly.
It's
And so you
huge.
knock it down.
Yeah.
And what's to be built there? Who knows? It could be sitting empty. I mean, like, look at Volkers. We wanted to knock Volkers down.
So we have Emily is here with Preservation Buffalo Niagara. So maybe Emily, you can shed a little more light on this. She says adaptive reuse is the only way forward here. Kenmore doesn't have any preservation laws. What keeps Kenmore looking like a cute walkable village? The continuity of the architecture. Shake Shack should be able to use the building, not tear it down. She's saying there are not a lot of restrictions. Call Preservation Buffalo Niagara and talk to us about preservation. Here's my question, Emily, and maybe you can shed some light on this. When we look at something like this, what's the cost differential
Right.
here? And then is there the ability to make up that difference of keeping the historic building versus tearing it down? Because I think everyone can agree, no matter what side of the island, you just don't want something to sit. Whether it's, a historic, it's been on the preservation list or not, like you don't want it to sit, you want it to be something, but what's the cost differential there? Is it just that much more expensive? Are there avenues for people to take should they want to go, and say, yeah, we'd like to put the Shake Shack inside this building? Is there other opportunity there?
So, Emily, I wonder what. Look, if there is a historic building, there are restrictions on what it has to look like. There are restrictions about what needs to happen in terms of maintaining that property. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about saying that there aren't a lot of restrictions. Mark, though, says, look at the old Pierce Arrow building on Elmwood Avenue. They adapted it. Yeah,
and that is
absolutely.
cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Emily says, Shake Shack will pay much more than Bob's Burger Shack as far as rent. Right. The greenest building is the one that's already used resources and is built.
Okay, so right, because you're not rebuilding something
Right.
there.
And then
National Register building, you get a 50% commercial.
okay,
Right?
and then she's saying not as a new build.
I think she's saying there are not restrictions for new builds. Not many restrictions potentially for new builds.
Right. I'm also interested, if they were to build it as a new build, would they have to only use electric?
Mm-hmm.
Or would they be, what, babe? Well, if it's a 2-story build and it's commercial and, it's post 2026, is that still a thing?
I don't know. I'd have to look because there was so much back and forth and potential pushback of those timelines.
Right. Emily says only that you can't tear it down, you can't replace brick with vinyl, you can't paint it any color you want. Right.
Mm.
So,
which is kind of interesting too, because if you think about it, remember, what's it called? The monocle?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of looks cool painted.
Yeah, it looks great.
It does.
So I don't know. I mean, what do you make of the idea that Shake Shack wants to come to town? They want to keep investing. And
yeah, your mom's right. The police apartments does look really cool.
Yeah.
And that, it is really neat when they take an old building and they put apartments into it because you
Absolutely.
get to see. So the old St. Mary's School for the Deaf at the corner of Virginia and Elmwood, the pink building,
Mhm.
super cool. Super cool. My friends have a condo in there and it looks awesome. It's just a cool, a school reused as a building.
yeah, it is
As a
very
building,
cool.
as an apartment building.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, you can paint it any color. I'm saying you
Oh,
can paint
okay.
anything. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting conversation because do the benefits
Yeah.
outweigh the reality of what's happening right now?
Yeah. I think the worst thing for any side is for something to just sit there.
Sure.
You just don't want it to sit there. So you want it to be utilized in some way.
And I'm telling
I
you,
was wondering about that.
yeah, I'm telling
that
you,
out last night.
yeah, that when I interviewed, who did I interview? Was it Paul back in the day? The preservation.
Oh, yeah, there was a man named Paul who used to
Yeah.
work with them. Yes, Emily, what was his name? Paul. Oh my gosh, I totally remember him.
Yeah, I just can't remember his last name.
We used to call him all the time because there was a
Correct.
long time when, especially with all the churches on the
And
east side.
ADM, the grain elevators when
Oh,
the
yeah.
when that collapsed.
Mhm.
I thought how honorable it was and how noble of a task it was to make sure that somebody stood up and said, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
let's not knock this building down because it does have such historic value. I mean, that was where the windshield wiper was created. And to know that it happened in Buffalo and
Yeah.
to know that we appreciated our past but can look to the future, I thought that was awesome.
Okay, this comment is hilarious. I'm glad Shake Shack doesn't want to be in Brant because I'd be there all the time, and that isn't good for me.
I get it.
I get it.
I actually have never had it. Yeah.
It's been. I think I had it like 15 years ago in New York City. That's the last time I
Really?
had it. Yeah. If we are getting a burger, Paul likes Five Guys. That's like
Okay.
his favorite. And I'm not really a big burger. I used to like Vizzy's.
What's that?
Oh my god, it was on Kenmore Avenue, right near St. Joe's. Oh my god, it was so good. They had the best burgers. And Fuddruckers when they were here were really good too. I saw Rick
Awesome.
Jenner there one time. It was a big day for me.
I'm going through my contacts right now looking for Paul.
Wasn't an M? Wasn't his last
I
name?
thought so. Preservation. Tim Thielman. It wasn't Paul.
I thought there was a guy named.
Duh, right. Tim Thielman. Duh. Peter, it would be like North Tonawanda tearing down the Wurlitzer. Exactly. Lauren loves Five Guys. We do too. I like the peanuts and Five Guys.
Paul loves that place.
Well, you know, maybe it would be good in a place like Niagara Falls, you know, where we're talking about tourism, when we're talking about people coming in from all over the place, and something that might attract people to that area. And I wonder if that's something that would draw people in.
Is that who we're thinking of?
No, I was definitely thinking of Tim
I think that
Thielman.
might be who I was thinking of. A different Paul from a different organization.
Yeah, he is a monster preservationist, and I thought that was very cool. I thought that was an awesome job to have. But there are so many people coming in from all over the world to Niagara Falls right now, and they're basically talking about tourism's global impact.
And great point that they were making this morning, which is that when you get a foreign traveler into Western New York, what was it? They spend like 3 times the amount of time and 3 times the amount of money or something like that.
As a domestic customer.
Think about
Yeah.
it. If you're traveling, you're coming from fill in the blank. And they weren't saying, I don't think Canada.
You're
Mexico
willing to
really
spend.
could. Right. You're here already. You're not going back to England
Right.
tomorrow. You're staying for a while. Spend 3 times the amount of money.
I think that's awesome.
Something like that.
You know, when you consider, though, that tourism is down, right? Isn't that the number that we had this morning, Jordan?
Yes.
Yeah, we had the idea that tourism is down.
25% from one chunk of last year compared to the year before. And then 3 million fewer visitors.
21 million, no, a 21% drop in Canadian tourists during the first 11 months of the year last year. And then
3 million
more
fewer.
than 3 million fewer from tourists outside of Mexico and Canada during the first 7 months of 2025.
So like foreign visitors, not the U.S. and not Canada and Mexico
Yes.
as a whole.
Yeah, and so how do we boost that tourism? How do we bring folks to Niagara Falls, USA? And look, it's not just about Niagara Falls, right? This is about other areas too, global hotspots. You know, and I think that the summit here that's happening in Niagara Falls is using Niagara Falls as a backdrop, and it's a great opportunity for
Absolutely.
our tourism leaders to say, "Hey, look at what we have, and look what we can do, and bring your folks here." And, we can, cross promote, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know.
You got to get the people here. I mean, we know that. And you know what the thing is? We see it so often in the summer. Niagara Falls is so hot in the summer.
Yeah.
It's cool to go there in the winter, too.
Yeah, it's like Elsa came in and...
We had family come in from Texas, and they went up there. I mean, they braved it. They actually walked across the bridge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
The Rainbow Bridge.
They walked across the bridge.
It's cool. You need a quarter.
It's cool, and it was cold.
Yeah.
I want to say it was $1.25.
Oh, really?
I think they said it was something like that.
Maybe it went up.
Prices have really gone up these days.
Laura says, in this weather, who would visit? Julie says, ice may not be good for tourism. No, but certainly looks cool, doesn't it? When you see Terrapin Point all frozen over, it's just so awesome.
Pedestrians may cross into Canada for $1.25.
Wow.
$6 if you're driving.
Okay, there you go. perhaps of the downtown area gets spruced up and have a Shake Shack go downtown. Well, that's
There you
kind of
go,
my point,
There
right?
you go, Peter.
Exactly, a win-win for everyone.
Yes. Shuffle it up about 15 miles north.
Seriously, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a good idea to build it there as opposed to Kenmore. Maybe they should look at that. Who knows?
Kenmore's such a cute little town or
I know.
village. It really is. It's fun to go. They have great food. And like I totally get the point. I do. I'd love to hear more about if we think there's a need for apartments there too.
In where?
In
Niagara Falls.
Kenmore. Because I do think people are looking for
Um,
housing. But you know that if they build a brand new apartment in a mixed use building, it's not going to be cheap. You know?
Yeah. So here's my thought, because we see a lot of this happening in like Amherst. We like the Mosey, for instance. Is that how you say it? The Mossy Mosey. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, you're talking about the big mixed use buildings
right.
down Main Street.
Yeah. I mean, and people are living there.
And there's more and more. Like, how about the one that Woodhouse is in, the one that Excurry is in, the one that
all of those buildings that have just been built allows people to come. They allow you to come in and live there, right? And Main Street in Williamsville is super cute, just like Delaware Avenue in Kenmore is. But it's about bringing people in, having them spend their money in, and building community in Kenmore or Amherst or downtown Buffalo.
You brought up Volkers before too.
Yeah. Well, that's my point.
What's going on there?
Exactly. And so that's my point.
Yeah.
Right? So we knock it down.
Right, what's going on?
And how much long? I mean, we wanted something to happen with Volkers, right? We know that there are plans for Volkers. We know that they want to make it into apartments.
Right.
But how much longer are we going to have to stare at a dirt pile?
Right, because I drive by it all the time, and I haven't really thought too much about it. And I mean, I spent time in Volkers when I was younger.
I was only there once, to be honest with you.
What was it for?
Your birthday party.
Right.
And do you know what? Do you know when it was? Right
When?
before the pandemic.
Yes,
was like the
it
last
was
thing
right
we
before. Oh
did.
my God, it was right before the touched all the bowling balls. Great.
Well, who knew?
Who knew?
Okay, can you hold down the fort for a second? I gotta go to the bathroom. Sorry.
Yes, I can. Now, Emily says Amherst has a historic preservation commission, and that's why they keep it cute. So maybe that's the concept. Maybe if Kenmore develops that, then they can move on that way. Yeah, Emily, I want to know what's going on with the Volkers area. That is just crazy. No. Oh, gosh, Jordan's coming in. Come on in, Jordan.
Just for a little second.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi. I think just something else. I think Peter brought up a while ago. Was also the Allentown area, because I feel like we've seen a lot of historic buildings kind of face scrutiny for either being torn down or not being done anything with it. So I think he was one who brought up possibly could a Shake Shack fit there? I mean, potentially, because you have
In Allentown?
I don't know, because I feel like they have like other.
So
burger
here's what I
places
will
there.
say about Allentown. It needs something to go in, like the Old Town restaurant.
The Old Town restaurant, Allen Burger Venture just closed.
Yep.
There's the other building that used to have El Caquito that was like right across from where the Old Pink was. I mean, the Old Pink.
And
like,
Mulligan's,
yeah,
right.
Mulligan's.
So Allentown definitely needs some help, for sure. Yeah, all right. Emily says what she really wants is Kenmore to create a preservation board so that they're able to kind of like handle this. But here's my other question, Emily. So in Williamsville, those builds are new builds. Would you have a problem with knocking this down for a new build if there were restrictions?
Good question.
That's my question, because like the building that has Woodhouse Spa in it, the building that has Excurria in it, like those are all new. I mean, the Excurria was kind of that, like, what it was, a Milo's restaurant, and the kind of but those are all like new.
Yeah.
But they don't not fit with the area. I don't think, like, they definitely look a little bit different, but it kind of kept the vibe.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I think that they would just have to be very careful, like with it. I feel like whatever they choose to do with the building, even if it is, let's say, somehow Shake Shack doesn't work out and it's some other business, I feel like they just have to really make sure that goes along with what the community needs,
The community
rather
wants
than
and needs.
and
Looks.
and looks.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like if you were to throw maybe, I don't know, you said there's a Walgreens cross street, so you wouldn't
There
want to
is.
throw like a CVS in there. You want
Right.
like, so I think
Right.
they have to kind of
Yeah.
have some.
Because you
sort of
don't
outlet.
want what's happening with Volkers right now. You don't want it knocked down to nothing, but you
don't.
also don't want it sitting in nothing.
Exactly. You also don't want it to be the same thing as the Old Pink and Mulligan's, where it's now been almost 2 years since the old pink burned down, and it's still just an empty lot. I mean, I know it was bought by some developers, I think, or there was some sort of not debacle, I want to say, but some back and forth on it.
Yeah, and Ryan, if the new build is affordable, the apartments above those buildings are so expensive. I know. You know, and you do see that, but I think the fact of the matter is too, like, just the cost of housing has gone up so much. And if you want to get in some of those new apartments, like I remember, I'm not going to name the building, but I remember one of our people who worked here was telling me what his rent was for his apartment, and my jaw was on the floor. It was like a 1-bedroom apartment.
My rent would probably make your jaw go on the floor. I'm not going to disclose on air, but it would.
Jordan, it's fair to say like a 1-bedroom downtown hovers around $2,000 a month.
Oh, fair. Definitely.
That's expensive to me. And now, baby, I'm just the old.
Maybe. But also,
person who was around here when things were cheaper.
I feel like I know someone who here lives over, I think, in the Trico building. So someone who moved over there. I think her rent is cheaper than what I pay for the building that I live in, which is interesting.
So you can find, would you say yours is, it's expensive or affordable, you think?
For the size of my apartment, probably expensive.
Expensive, okay.
But
it's new-ish.
It's remodeled.
We started talking about the cost, like downtown rent and how much stuff costs.
Oh, you want to? Oh, what did you do, Jordan?
No, it's all good. It's good. Because we were talking about how... Because somebody was saying, hey, if they put in one of those new build apartment, you know, if one of those mixed use, but they always end up being so expensive. And I was saying, right, but like you have to consider these new apartments are expensive. Like,
so my sister's paying like, I think close to $1,700 or $1,800 a month.
Because I said a nice apartment in Buffalo, like a 1-bedroom, let's say, can hover around $2,000 a month.
So I remember when I first moved here, again, 15 years ago, I was paying $700 a month for an older building. It was on the corner of 954 Amherst.
I'm very familiar.
It's right on the corner of Amherst and Delaware.
There's all those apartments right there.
Yeah, it was on Amherst though, not the ones on Delaware. But then I remember looking at a building on Delaware that was new, and it was like one of those cool like new builds, and rent was $900 a month, and I was like, ooh, I can't afford that. But at the same time, have salaries gone up enough to keep up with what rent is right now?
I have to tell you, do you remember, and I didn't disclose the person, but I did say someone who worked or works with us was telling us at one point this person's rent was $2,000 a month to live downtown.
Was it John?
It included parking.
Yeah, it must have been
John. It included their apartment. And I just thought... And maybe, again, it's because I grew up here and I was just like, wow, to me, that's expensive. But
well, right.
It's also like kind of...
But if you rented out your house too, you'd be able to make that kind of money also.
I don't know. And you want to know, here's the other thing. It's nice. It's new. It's rehab. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So they're going for like $1,800, then they can get you in parking too. And
yes, we rent out our apartment. We have an upper and a lower.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Landlords.
See, everybody's kind of with me. When the girls and I first rented, we had this cute little apartment in Parkside. There were 3 of us. We paid $400 each.
Right.
And that was like what we could afford back then. We were $1,200 was expensive for an apartment back then.
Yeah.
And then B, it was, 3 young girls.
Ryan says my fiance and I rent a home in Tonawanda, and we got it for a steal, so we won't be moving until the market is affordable. And that makes sense, right? And look, guess what? You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about if something breaks, who's going to come and fix it. They are. If they, need to mow the lawn, you're not doing it. Right. They are.
Right. There was always this concept that you were throwing money away on rent, and then my dad and I had this conversation the one day about how, like, are you really throwing it away if you don't have to do all of that stuff?
No.
And you're not in the position to have to do it.
It's an investment in yourself, frankly.
Because I remember when I was then in between places, before Paul and I met, I was like, oh, I'll buy a place. And then when I was single, thinking about buying a place, didn't know how to do anything.
Well, look, at the time,
hang a picture
though,
on the wall.
Sure, but at the time, housing prices were a lot lower than they
were
are right
lower,
now.
but to me, they seemed expensive.
Right, sure.
And I'm like, I don't know how to fix anything.
Right. And so
what am I going to do? Even my dad was like, honey, if that breaks, you're on your own.
SOL. John Marlene, I think, is doing very well. From what I have heard from him, he is doing well in O-Town, and as much as we miss him, we're glad that he's doing well there.
Yeah. He's down there with one of his buddies.
Yeah, warmer days.
Having a great time.
Sunshine and Disney. Yeah. What could be bad? All right, we got to get the show on the road.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great day. So long.